Hi, this is Ajay Anand and welcome to Social Science classes from excelup.com. In this video, you will learn about political parties. You will learn about definitions of political parties, then about functions and need for political parties. You will understand the difference between multi-party system and two-party systems. What are the popular participation in political parties? Then you will learn about the difference between national parties and regional parties, and at the end you will be learning about challenges facing the political party and reforms which are required in political parties. So let us start with the definition. A political party is a group of people who come together to contest elections to hold power. Every political party has to fight election, rather it fights election, and the prime aim of fighting the election is to form a government. A political party represents a particular section of society. So it can be said that a political party represents a part of the society, and that is why the concept of partisanship is involved in a political party. And from this word partisanship has originated the word party. The main components of a political party are leaders, active members and followers. So the leaders, the people who take the leadership position, who take the responsibility of putting forward and promoting the ideology of a political party. Then there are active members who are spread throughout the country. They create public awareness about their party's policies and philosophies among the public. Then there are followers who are not active participants, but they buy the argument of a particular political party and they show a leaning towards ideology of a particular political party. Now, what are the functions of political party? There are many functions. The main function is to contest elections so that it can form the government. So, contesting election is necessary and winning elections is also necessary. Until unless a political party wins the election and gets the most number of seats in an assembly or a parliament, it cannot form the government. So, once the political party forms the government, its function is to make policies and laws. You must have read in your previous classes that making a law or making changes in existing laws is done by the legislature, and since most of the members of the legislature, they belong to one or another political party, so indirectly it is a political party which has to make the law and which has to make the policies. Then the role of political party is forming the government and running the government. If a political party does not get the majority number of seats, or it is not part of the ruling coalition, then the party has to play the role of the opposition. The opposition plays the role of a watchdog and it keeps an eye on the ruling dispensation, that the ruling dispensation works according to the will of the people. Then another role of political party, function of political party is in shaping public opinion about a particular issue. So if there is a particular issue, one political party may have one view, another political party may have another view. So a party creates public opinion about its perspective regarding a particular topic or an issue. Then the role of political party is also in providing access to the government machinery. To understand this, we can take example of the public distribution system, the system through which poor people get subsidized food grains and some other essential items. So what happens, the workers and members of the political parties, they ensure that the people who are involved in the PDS, public distribution system, they do not dupe people, rather the members of political parties, they ensure that the food grains and other subsidized things, goods, they reach the actual beneficiary. Then there are many examples when poor people or illiterate people, they may not be aware about the proper rules and regulations regarding government functioning. Say, for example, in getting a caste certificate, or getting a voter ID card, or getting income certificate, or getting registration of the land. So workers of the political parties, they help local people in getting these things done. So that is how the political party provides access to the government machinery to common people. Now, what is the necessity of political parties? There are two needs. One is to bring diverse people on a common platform, and another is the need for representative democracy. The country is full of variety of people, each individual is different, and if there will be no political party, there can be chaos. Say, to understand this, let us take the example of the Indian Parliament. There are 543 members of Parliament. Imagine a situation in which each member is an independent candidate. That means none of the members belongs to a political party. So in that case, what will happen? It will be almost impossible for all those 545 members, or even majority of the members, to come to a conclusion or come to consensus regarding a particular issue or regarding a particular decision being taken. So in that case, the political party, what does it do? It brings lots of different diverse people on a common platform, so that some degree of consensus it can be achieved, and fruitful decision making and working can be ensured. Now, as far as democracy is concerned, all around the world, representative democracy is being followed, because common people like you and me does not have enough time to directly participate in governance. So that is why common people, they elect representative, and the representatives, they work on behalf of people. So to ensure a proper set of representatives, there is a need for political party. Now let us talk about the multi-party system versus two-party system. In our country, we have multi-party system, and many people, they review the fact that the USA and UK, they are well developed because they have two-party system. So apparently we think that USA and UK have better decision making capabilities because of two-party system. There, in some countries, there is one-party system, and sometimes we appreciate the efficiency of those countries like China. But one-party system, it cannot be termed as a democratic system, because the one-party system does not give options to people. Okay. Now, a particular party system in a country develops because of certain historic and social reasons. So India, being a diverse country in terms of many religions, caste, language, culture, we have various sets of people, and none of the political party, although even the larger political ones like BJP or Congress, can claim to truly represent each and every section of the country. And that is why we see so many political parties in India, because different political parties, they represent the aspirations of different sorts of people. And that is why, in spite of all the shortcomings, we have a multi-party system, and it has its more benefits than harms. Now, what about political participation in political parties, popular participation? The common perception is that people, they do not, trust in political parties. So some survey was done, some studies were done, and there is a data, that is State of Democracy in South Asia, Oxford University Press, Delhi. It was published in 2007. As per this data, most of the people in South Asia, they do not enjoy much trust in political parties. So this is as per our perception. But the level of participation in political party is fairly high, and especially it is high in India. And in recent years, the membership of political parties has increased. So this speaks against the popular perception. So now more and more people they are participating in the political process. So we can say that popular participation in political parties, it is increasing. Let us come to the recognized parties. We have an election commission, that is an independent body which looks after conduction of election and code of conduct of political parties. The Election Commission of India, it gives recognition to political parties. So once a political party gets recognition from the Election Commission, the party gets a unique symbol by the Election Commission. So that unique symbol, it can only be used by the official candidate of a particular political party. So say for example, if a mobile phone is the symbol of a party ABP, okay, then all the official candidates, they only will be using the mobile phone as election symbol. Then Election Commission categorizes party like state party and national party. So what is a state party? A political party which secures at least 6% of total votes in assembly elections and wins at least 2 seats in an assembly is given the category of state party. A political party which gets at least 6% votes in Lok Sabha elections or assembly elections in 4 states. So here it is 1 state and here there are 4 states, and wins at least 2 seats in the Lok Sabha is given the status of a national party. So as per the latest records, there are 6 national parties in India. They are the Indian National Congress, Bharatiya Janata Party, Bahujan Samaj Party, Communist Party of India Marxist, then Communist Party of India, and Nationalist Congress Party. The Indian National Congress is the oldest political party in India, and it was established in 1885. The symbol of Congress is the hand or the palm. The Bharatiya Janata Party was formed in 1980 and its election symbol is the lotus flower. The Bahujan Samaj Party was formed in 1984 and its election symbol is an elephant. The Nationalist Congress Party, it was found in 1999 and its election symbol is a clock. The CPI, the Communist Party, was formed in 1925 and in 1964 it split. So that is how the formation of CPIM took place. The election symbol of CPI is sickle along with wheat florets, and that of CPIM is a sickle and a hammer. Challenges to political parties. So now the political parties, they are facing many challenges. The number 1 is the lack of internal democracy or dynastic succession. Number 3 is money and muscle power, and that of being a meaningful choice. In most of the political parties, the real power is in the hands of a select person or a group of select people, and these people they are very far, they are removed from the ground realities. A common worker of political parties, in most of the cases, he cannot even dare to dream of reaching the top position in the political party. Then another problem is of dynastic succession. In most of the political parties, the real power is controlled by a particular family. So the person who is born in that family, he or she assumes the role of being the supremo of the political party after the death of the previous person. So you can count many examples from national level as well as at state levels. winning an election requires lots of money, and the political party, they want to leave no effort to ensure a win. In order to do that, they spend money like anything, and they use local goons also to terrorize people and to terrorize polling officers. Most of the political parties, they fail to be a meaningful choice to the people, because each political party appears to be same. So even in some states, the government changes after every 5 years. People, they do not get any change, so there is no real change at the ground level. So political parties, they are not offering a proper choice to people. So it comes to the choosing between the two evils. So for this 5 years, let us elect this evil, then for another 5 years we'll elect another set of evils. Reforms. So many reforms they have been done, some are under process. So number one reform was anti-defection law. This law was brought by Rajiv Gandhi when he was the Prime Minister, and as per this law, if any MP or MLA switches loyalty from one political party to another, he loses his membership to the Assembly or Parliament. So the anti-defection law, it has prevented the defection to a great extent. It has also brought some degree of political stability, especially in terms of the stability in state governments. But anti-defection law has ensured that nobody becomes a dissident. I mean, you cannot raise your voice against your bosses in a political party. So that is the problem. Then now it has been made mandatory that while filing nomination for an election, the candidate has to give details of property and details of criminal proceedings to the nomination authority. So this makes the process somewhat transparent, and public now has more information about the credentials of candidates. Then it has been made mandatory that political parties hold organizational elections and file IT returns. But right now there is no way to ensure the authenticity of these information, whether the details of property or criminal proceeding, they are correct or not. Organizational elections, they are being held in some political parties, but more often than not, they are just window dressings. They are not real elections. The power still lies in the hand of select people. So to recapitulate, I talked about the definition of political parties. I talked about the functions and needs of political party. I talked about the two-party system, multi-party system. Then I talked about the difference between national party and regional parties. Then I talked about the challenges being faced by political parties and reforms which are being undertaken to bring some sort of improvement in the functioning of political parties. So that's all for this lesson. Thank you.